diseases. So yesterday we were discussing about the non-communicable diseases. So one of the non-communicable disease is diabetes, and we have already learned about the deficiency diseases. So we have learned about anemia, and now the non-communicable disease which we are going to learn is which we are going to know about it is the diabetes, how it occurs and what happens if it occurs. Non-communicable diseases are those diseases which are not caused by touch or from anything like water, the agents like mosquitoes, flies, and due to water, contaminated water. So these diseases are not caused by those contaminants. These diseases are due to improper function of our own body organs, our own body parts, improper functioning of. So this diabetes is caused due to the improper functioning of a gland known as pancreas. So do you all know where the pancreas are located? So now I'm going to show you one video so that it may be clear to you where these glands are present inside our body and how the disease is caused. Okay. Yes. Lasya, why you raised your hand? You can unmute yourself.
Ma'am, can you increase your volume?
My volume is this much only. I have increased it till 100% and still I can't be able to increase. Now you can hear me?
No, ma'am. So less it is.
Now? You can hear me?
Ma'am, I'll take earphones.
You can hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, children. So I'll be sharing one video with you so that will be clear for you. Just give me a second. Just inform me, raise your hands if you can't see the video. One second, children. Yes. So you all can see it. Lasya, you all can see. Lasya, just tell me if you can see it. Raise your hand. You can see it? Okay.
To explain how your body processes the food you eat in order to provide all your body cells with the energy they need. And also what happens when you have diabetes and this system doesn't work properly. When you eat food that contains carbohydrate, it's broken down in the stomach and digestive system into
Yes, children, you all can hear it properly. Raise your hand if you can hear it. You can hear? Okay. Okay. You all can hear it properly? Okay.
glucose, which is a type of sugar. We need glucose from food because that's what gives us energy. Carbohydrate containing foods are things like starchy foods, sugary foods, milk and some dairy products, and fruit. This glucose then moves into the bloodstream and the body detects that the blood glucose level is rising. In response to that, the pancreas, which is a little gland that sits just underneath the stomach, starts to release a hormone called insulin. and it's insulin that helps our body get the energy from the food we eat. The bloodstream then takes the glucose and the insulin to every cell in our body that needs it. To make this easier to understand, let's look at muscle cells. At the muscle cells, it's insulin that allows the glucose to get into the cells where it can be used for energy. It's a bit like insulin is a key unlocking the door to the cells so the glucose can get in. That way, the blood glucose level starts to drop. But the blood glucose level can be topped up at any point by the liver releasing extra glucose that it has stored. The blood glucose rises again, and again the pancreas produces more insulin to move with that glucose through the bloodstream to the muscle cells, open the doors and let the glucose in. The body functions best with the blood glucose at an optimum level. It doesn't like it if the blood glucose rises too high. Normally, there's a cycle within the body which balances out the glucose and the insulin level, and this is achieved by the food you eat, the pancreas and the liver. However, in some people, the system doesn't work properly and they develop diabetes. There are two main types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. In type 1 diabetes, the body isn't making any insulin at all. This is because of an autoimmune response whereby the body has destroyed the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. We don't entirely know why that happens in some people and not in others. Type 1 diabetes accounts for about 10% of all cases. It's most often found in the under 40s, and it's by far the most common type of diabetes found in childhood. In type 1 diabetes, the carbohydrate containing food is broken down into glucose as normal. That glucose then moves into the bloodstream. Normally, the body would produce insulin to let that glucose into the cells, but in type 1 diabetes, there is no insulin being produced, so the glucose can't get into the body cells at all. So the level of glucose in the blood rises and rises. The body tries to lower the level of glucose, it tries to get rid of the glucose through the kidneys. That's why people who have undiagnosed type 1 diabetes tend to go to the toilet a lot to pass urine. As the kidneys filter the glucose out of the blood, they also take a lot of water with it. So the person with diabetes will get very thirsty. The urine contains a lot of glucose, and that creates an environment where it's quite easy for bacteria to thrive. So it's also quite common to get thrush or genital itching. In the same way, the blood contains a high level of glucose as well. So more bacteria than usual will tend to breed in flesh wounds, and they might be slow to heal. Glucose can also build up in the lens at the front of the eye, causing the liquid in the lens to become cloudy. That can mean that some people with undiagnosed type 1 diabetes can have blurred vision. Because the glucose can't get into the cells to be used for energy, somebody who's got undiagnosed type 1 diabetes is going to start feeling very tired, lethargic and unable to sort of go about their normal daily routine. But the body still needs an energy source in order to work properly. So what it does is it starts to break down its fat stores, and that can lead to weight loss. So the main symptoms of type 1 diabetes are going to the toilet a lot, thirst, thrush or genital itching, slow healing of wounds, blurred vision, tiredness and weight loss. These symptoms generally happen quite quickly, often over a few weeks, and can...
Yes, you all can hear it properly? One second, children. I'll just... Yes. Okay, good. Okay. Shank, Arnit, yes, tell me how many systems are there inside our body?
Ma'am, skeleton system,
Yes,
nervous system,
yes. Circulatory system.
circulatory system,
Yes.
Digestive system.
Yes, good.
Nervous system.
Yes. And what else? Reproductive system. Reproductive system also there.
System.
Okay. And Ashank. Yes, 1 second. Yes, Ashank, tell me.
Skeletal system.
Yes.
Muscular system.
Good.
Circulatory system.
Yes.
Respiratory system.
Yes.
Nervous system.
Yes.
Reproductive
Reproductive system.
system.
Good. Okay, Ashank. Now just mute yourself. Okay, Adrika. Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, excretory system,
Good.
reproductive system, circulatory system,
Yes.
digestive system,
Good.
nervous system, and
Oh,
respiratory system.
okay, good. Yes. So now, what are the organs which are present inside these? What are the organs which are present in the respiratory system? Yes, you can unmute yourself, Shishira. Shishira, you can unmute yourself. Yes, tell me. Your voice is very low, Shishira. I can't be able to hear you. I can't hear you. Yes, anyone else who can tell me? Yes, 1 second. Adrika wants to tell. Yes. Yes, Lasya, I'll give you a chance.
Lungs, ma'am.
Okay. Lungs. Yes, Lasya, tell me.
Nose, lungs.
And
That's all.
okay.
Too early, no, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. So the respiratory system consists of lungs. So what happens in asthma? Asthma usually it happens due to the improper functioning of our lungs. Due to the infection, the lungs cannot breathe in. They cannot take in the oxygen properly. So because of that, the patient suffers from asthma. So it is not a communicable disease. It is non-communicable disease. Okay. So till now, is it clear, children, regarding the non-communicable diseases? Okay. Now we will see. We'll go to the new topic. So children, you have done the homeworks.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, exactly what is the homework, ma'am?
Till now, I asked you to write the Fay notes.
What way notes?
Fay notes I asked you to write. Is your notes complete?
Question and answers.
Yes. I asked you to write the question answers in the
Ma'am, first of all, we didn't did this one only, ma'am.
yesterday we have finished the coursework
No,
exercises.
ma'am. No,
Coursework
ma'am, this one we
exercises.
didn't
Page
did.
number 9 we have finished. Page number
Page
10
number
also.
nine.
Yesterday we
Ma'am,
have done. Page number
page
10.
number 9 and 10 done, ma'am.
Yes. Everyone.
Only 17th. 17th.
Everyone have done page number 9 and 10.
9
Raise
and
your
10
hands
done,
if
ma'am.
you haven't done. Okay, children will just start the class, our new class regarding the new topic. How do we fall ill? Okay,
I know.
how do we fall ill? Why do we fall ill? Can anyone tell
Germs.
me?
Germs enter our body through virus source. From the air we breathe, the food we eat, and water we drink.
Okay. Yes. Anyone just tell me, why do we fall ill and how do we fall ill? Raise your hands if anyone can tell me. Yes, last year you gave me the answer. Yes, Adrika, tell me.
Ma'am, because bacteria or germs enter our body and we fall sick.
Okay, good. And anyone else? Vaishali wants to tell. Yes, Vaishali. Ashank, where is your camp? Yes, raise your hands if you know the answer. Yes, Himesh, yes, tell me.
Ma'am, if we do not have enough immunity power and if we do not eat hygienic food, we may fall sick.
Good, yes. Okay, anyone else? Just raise your hands if you know the answer. Why do we fall ill and how do we fall ill? No one. You don't fall ill. You don't get any fever or cough, cold. You didn't had. Yuvanshri, can you hear me? Rishin Reddy, you don't fall ill. Yes, Yuvanshri, just tell me, how do we fall ill and why do we fall ill? Yuvanshri, unmute yourself. I can't hear you. No, I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am, we can't hear.
No, Yuvanshri, sorry. We can't hear you. Just hold your microphone in your hand and just speak. Check your volume.
Like this. Like this.
No, we can't hear. Sorry. Yes, anyone else? Anyone else can give me the answer? Yes, where is Ashank? One second, children. I just want to check. Yes, yes, keep your camera, children. I want to see you all. Ashank, keep your camera. Yes, Adrika,
Yes, ma'am.
you just raised your hand.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, children.
Ma'am, me that is.
So, who was that?
Ma'am, that time I did, ma'am.
So, how do we fall ill? And why do we fall ill? Usually, what happens, germs enter our body through various sources.
Yeah.
Through various sources like the air we breathe in, and the food we eat, and the water we drink. So, through these sources, the germs enter our body. At, at times, the pollutants in the air causes the allergies and diseases. Usually, some people, if the if you go out and there is a lot of pollution outside because of the vehicles, so if you just breathe in that air, you feel allergy, you'll be sneezing, isn't it? You'll visit a doctor that I am getting a lot of irritation in my nose, and you'll be allergic to that. So what happens, the germs enter the body and enter the cells, and they attack the body, and they just cause the disease to you. Like, you'll be showing some symptoms like your body temperature may increase, and you'll be suffering from fever, and sometimes you'll be getting uh, sneezing or any sort of symptoms it may show. To avoid falling sick, what you have to do, you have to maintain your personal hygiene, like washing your hands thoroughly with soap and uh, sanitizers, and even you have to put your mask on your face while going out, and even you have to wear your gloves. Yes, children, any doubt? And what all you have to do to avoid falling sick? Yes, anyone else? You can tell me what you have to do to avoid getting sick. Raise your hands if you can tell
Ma'am,
me.
ma'am, we should not eat junk food and we should eat fresh food.
Yes, good. Yes, Himesh. Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, we should always eat in a balanced diet food.
Yes, good. And yes, Lasya. Lasya wants to say something. Yes, tell me.
Bathing regularly, washing hands,
Yes, good,
eat healthy food,
good.
having a balanced diet,
Okay,
keeping nails and hair clean.
okay, good. Okay,
That's all.
okay, good children. We'll continue the topic tomorrow because we have finished the
No
time.
time.
Yes, I'll be sending you a few more questions which we have to note it down in your Fay notes through MCB. I'll send it to you. Okay, and
Okay, ma'am.
you're not sending me the pics of the completed notes. You have to send. I told you to send it to your class teacher. Okay, so children will continue the lesson tomorrow, and you have to
Okay, ma'am.
go through this lesson before coming to the class.